come in, I pull up on Pac. When I pull up on Pac just ran up on this motherfucker and started choking him. You motherfucker. We had to grab Pac because we like, Pac, we not asking for all of this. I'm not gonna lie, I was closer to Big, even though I knew Pac first. Suge Knight tried to diss Puff. At that, Pac and Q-Tip had a very serious and a very intense beef. That's what ended up getting him killed.
I'm Prophet Muscle, the only man in the world who can do handstand push-ups with his fists on concrete.
Crazy tempo, he gonna get it.
Did you have any relationship with Pac in them days?
You
was big and he was
incredible. Big. I had an incredible relationship with Pac.
Wow.
Me and Pac been friends from early Leaders days, before he put out his solo shit, when he was still just dancing with Digital Underground. Interesting story of one of the early Pac interactions. So we had a college date to do. We had to do a show at a college, and Digital Underground was performing and Leaders was performing. We only on our first album, right? And we had to do sound check. So we get to the sound check a little bit late. Digital had already did their sound check, and we get there a little late. Digital broke out. I think Pac and Money B was still in the neighborhood. I don't know where Money B was exactly, but Pac wasn't there by himself. You know what I'm saying? So we getting ready to do the sound check. The sound man was on some bullshit because I guess we took too long, so it was time. He felt like that I'm not sticking around to do this sound check, right? So he's shutting shit down and he acting like he getting ready to leave. And we kind of like on some, damn, we really want to get this sound check done. And the crazy shit is, Pac, he kind of saw that there was a little bit of friction going on, and he just came and involved himself in the situation. And Pac turned to this white man and he was just like, yo, he said, I need you to cut this motherfucking soundboard on. Leaders of the New School gonna get their sound check done right now. Fuck you talking about you ain't turning on the equipment. And he just started spazzing on dude. And you know, the man wasn't trying to hear what Pac was talking about. So he acting like he breaking the fuck out. So Pac just ran up on this small and started choking him. You motherfucker. So we had to grab Pac because we like, Pac, we not asking for all of this, bro. Chill, my nigga. Like we just want to sound check. This ain't war, bro. But that's the type of dude Pac was. He really went out his way to extend his love and show his love. And
every time I seen Tupac, he was in violence. Every single time I met him in my life, anytime I ever had an interaction with him, I seen him beating up the bull agents on 125th. He walk in the club, he looking for somebody with the hammer. Yo, Joe, you seen such and such? Nah, Pac, I see him in Atlanta with 2 hammers. I see him anywhere I seen Tupac, it was violence involved.
Yeah. You know what it was, bro? I think, and you know, it's a little frustrating for me, but it's the truth. I think Pac just really felt, I think he took on more of this responsibility to have to prove his love when he didn't really need to. And a lot of the times, the love that I guess he felt he needed to show people that he wanted in return, he was already getting it. You get what I'm saying? I don't know why he felt the need to go above and beyond to the point where he would get himself in trouble just to prove to somebody that he got real love for him or he'll do something to somebody for the person he loved, because that's what ended up getting him killed. You know, the situation that happened in Vegas, you know, he went and got himself involved with something that ain't have nothing to do with him. But because he was moving with those dudes from that team, he felt like he had to go out of his way to prove to them that he gonna ride for his family, his team, whoever he moving with. And it unfortunately ended up the way it did. But this has been a thing with bro that it's beautiful in one sense, because
you know your man is holding you down no matter what.
No matter what. You know what I'm saying? But it's also the thing that got him into a lot of situations that he could have avoided. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
Or,
oh, for sure. So with that said, was you in a weird position? And I don't really want to elaborate, but being that you knew him since Digital Underground and he had beef with Big, was you ever in a weird position being cool with both of them? Or it was like, yo, Bus, he's neutral, whatever the case may be?
You know how we was raised, Crack. You know, when you know and you're friends with two people that are conflicting, you're supposed to be the neutralizer. You're supposed to be the one to try to do whatever you can to squash it. You ain't supposed to pick no side. I'm not gonna lie, I was closer to Big, even though I knew Pac first, because I went to school with Big. I was in Big's home. I hug and kiss Big's mother. She hugs and kisses me. You know, C's and all of them, we grew together. You know, I knew Pac, but I haven't been in Pac's home. I don't know the late, great, beautiful Afeni Shakur, his mom. We didn't have the same interaction based on us not living in the same proximity and space. So, the circumstances is what created my relationship dynamic to be much stronger with Big and D-Rock and Kim and C's and the whole Junior Mafia. Biggie's moms, me and Diddy, that's one of my closest friends in the world. So, and we was all on this side, we was seeing each other, crossing paths. So it was really tough for me to be in the middle of that. I mean, it was also like when I saw Pac and Q-Tip had beef. Tribe.
I never knew this. This is Joker moment. This is a Joker moment. I never knew Pac and Q-Tip had beef.
Yeah, Pac and Q-Tip had a very serious and a very intense beef. Like, thank you, Gonzalo. This is during the time when I'm shooting Higher Learning movie, right? We talking like 93, 92. And Source Awards, before they started to air on television, was at that same location at the Paramount Theater in Madison Square Garden. At least that's what it was called at the time, I believe. This is the same stage where Suge Knight tried to diss Puff at that Source Awards. So this particular Source Awards, I believe, was the one or two of them before that particular moment, right? So me, Tupac, Omar Epps, we were staying in the Oakwood Apartments, which is the fully furnished apartments in LA on Hollywood Boulevard in Fuller.
I stayed there before.
So you know what I'm talking about, right? So in this particular crib, it's like buildings full of fucking fully furnished apartments. Pac was in one floor, Omar Epps was on another floor, I'm on my floor. We bouncing back and forth to each other cribs the whole time we out there shooting movies. And Tupac, during this time frame, had to go to New York because he was performing at this particular Source Awards. So this is when we was all performing off of DAT tapes, crack. So you know, once the motherfucking engineer press play on your DAT tape, it ain't like you could stop that shit and play.
No, you got to go.
You gotta go, right? So Tribe was performing, Tribe was doing their acceptance speech for Best Group of the Year. They had won the award for that year at the Source. And Tupac was supposed to be the next performance after their acceptance speech was complete and Pac got introduced, right? So somehow the production person, the stage production manager, wasn't paying attention to what was really happening. And the motherfucker ended up pressing play in the middle of the Tribe acceptance speech. So Pac just comes out there performing all over their speech like he was shitting on their speech. You feel me? So that wasn't Pac's fault, but it looked like a flagrant Pac disrespect.
It looked like some Pac shit.
Right. It looked like a flagrant Pac disrespect.
Pac 101.
Right. So, you know, and at the time, because Pac, you know, had this little rep of being a little bit of a loose cannon, it looked like, all right, here he go again, right? So the beef starts. Pac comes off the stage, Tribe, they with Zulu Nation, and shit get crazy. So it ain't lead to no blows, but a pressure was very intense between Tribe and Pac at the time. And they ended up, fortunately, not going to blows, but they didn't walk away from that shit with the beef squashed. So it was going to lead to something if they crossed paths again and somebody didn't step in to intervene and mediate and try to put it to bed. Pac came back to the Oakwood Apartments.
And you there?
Yeah, and I'm there. And he know my relationship with Q-Tip. So he gave me the call and said, you got to come check me real quick. So I come in, I pull up on Pac. When I pull up on Pac, we ain't even talk about it right away. I get to his apartment and we in there chilling, and he actually got mad blood all over the place. And he had an MPC 60 beat machine in his apartment, and it was looping this Isley Brothers sample. And he had wrote about 3-4 songs to the same sample for different records, which was confusing to me because I never saw that. Like, I write one song to a beat, I'm not writing a different song to the same beat. Pac wrote 3 or 4 songs to this same sample, and we blowing tree, and you know, I ain't want to seem anxious to know what he was talking about, because you know, it's also the vibe. We hanging around, we blowing tree, we just vibing and chilling. So it almost was like he forgot to talk to me about what he called me to talk to him for, because he had got caught up in writing these songs. So I eventually said to him, you wanted to holler at me about something? And he go, oh yeah. So, you know, this is what happened with me and Q-Tip, and I know you and Q-Tip is like brothers, and it wasn't my fault. They pressed play on the DAC. I fucking hear my song. I go out there, I got to do what I'm doing. I didn't, you know, I'm focusing on the shit that I got to do, so I wasn't even really paying attention to the fact that they was doing their acceptance speech. And when they approached me on some shit, I didn't know what it was about. I need Q-Tip to know I wasn't on no bullshit. Like, I got unbelievable respect for Tip and Fife and Tribe. So could you get us on the phone? Because he ain't have Tip number. So I called Tip, and I talked to Tip about Pac getting on the wanting to talk to him. Him and Pac spoke. And what's the dude that used to be on BET with the light brown eyes and shit? Donnie Simpson or something?
Donnie Simpson, the
Simpson.
green-eyed guy.
What? He was still on BET at the time.
He's still fly, by the way. He works at a radio station in D.C. He's the Billy D's of the game. He's still fly.
Oh, that's a fact.
Still on the radio in D.C.
And he got the motherfucker Billy D. Williams' voice for real. He definitely big up to Donnie Simpson, legend. So Tip and Pac spoke. They actually squashed the shit, and they were now trying to strategize a way to get on BET and do a public truce, and it didn't get to happen. Interestingly enough, during that same time frame, Pac, this is when Jack the Rapper was still popping. You know all about Jack the Rapper, crack.
In Atlanta.
Jack
That's
the Rapper.
when I met Tupac.
Right. So Jack the Rapper comes, and Pac was redoing, he was fully restoring us, I think like a 67 Chevy Impala or a 64, something like that. And he had it fully done up. He shipped the shit down to Atlanta. He goes down there. Couple days pass and shit. You hear about this police shooting with these off-duty cops that Tupac was involved in. Tupac comes back to LA. And when he gets back to LA, me and Omar pulled up on him, check him and shit. And then, we was vibing for a minute, and then Omar left, and I stayed. The difference was, Pac was still on his, put a loop on the MPC, write a bunch of songs of that shit, steam a bunch of weed. But this time, he was a lot more paranoid because he thought, as a result of that situation transpiring down there, the police is the whole United States. Them niggas will put a calling in a different state, and they police friends or brothers in the next city will come and see you. He felt something like that was going to happen as a result of what transpired in Atlanta, in LA. So he just was on some super paranoid, constantly looking out the window shit. He got his ratchet closet right. Like he really thought somebody was coming to get him at that point. But just watching Pac go through all of these phases, I'm saying all of this to say the situation with him and Big and the discomfort for me was Pac had gotten to a place where there wasn't really no talking to him. There really wasn't no ability to mediate the situation. He had gotten a little too far gone with what he had surrounded himself with, becoming a part of the Death Row family. And, there was other...
I know, when I first had beef with 50 Cent, couldn't nobody talk me off that mountain. Like, I was like, it was all smoke. I lost friends. If a friend of mine worked with him or anything, I was like on some beyond bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So I know it could get to a place like that. I'm gonna skip because I keep seeing too many of our friends are on here.
I got trained by Roger Mayweather.
I'm the son of Roger Mayweather.
Roger, tell these motherfuckers subscribe to the Prophet channel.
Prophet Muscle.
Subscribe for more, bro.